Hi, this is Carin Camen, and you are listening and watching to the Hats That I Wear video training series. This is where I am breaking down each one of the roles within the Internet Technology project in order to help you understand those roles and to give you a little bit more information into this fascinating world of Internet technology. We are going to go in and we're going to talk about development. And you're wondering probably why development was to last. It's last, but it's definitely not least. It's one of the most important ones. I left it to the last and I put it into the management section because you are also going to be dealing with managers inside the development team, the system architectures, the solution leads. And because developers are such highly skilled, that's why they get paid the big bucks. I think they have very strong management skills that needs to be discussed in this section. So we're going to start this. Let's make sure I can make it happen. So again, you're wondering about dev. Well, dev has what's called a software development life cycle, which is similar to what I've been talking about. All right, let's get that there. Oh, shoot. All right, hang on here. Got to go back. I'm going to be there. There we go. All right, so we have basically, this is the software development life cycle. Planning, which would be the same as discovery. Going through, understanding, planning the project. Analysis, which would be the same as strategy. Then we have design, which would be the same as design. They're designing what their code base, they're designing what that is going on with them. Then in the execution phase, this is where we break out. In the execution phase, when you're in dev, you're breaking the execution phase into dev and implementation, testing, and maintenance. So we've got similarities on the first three, but then in the execution phase, you're breaking that down a little bit further. So how does that work in with dev? And how does that work with me? Since I'm not a developer, but I have to understand dev. I have to understand the current libraries. What are available, because that makes a product better for the user. I have to be able to speak in their language because they are an actual user. Dev has management inside the development team, and they are called solution leads. Solution leads, as I've talked before, these are developers that are on a higher skill level and are more of a manager of the team. And so the team relies heavily on them. The solution leads are the ones that the team looks for guidance and direction in resolving any problems with code, being able to organize things. They are the ones that tend to go to a lot of meetings. And that can be challenging if they're taken away from the development team, because the development team relies on their leadership. So that is one of the entities, and they're called solution leads. I love my solution leads because my solution leads have always been, every single solution lead I have ever worked with has always been phenomenal. These guys are not into doing the politics and the conflict and all of this stuff. They're just there to help. If I'm not understanding a particular aspect of the project and the development side, these gentlemen have been so good to go and break that down in normal people language in order for me to be able to go in and articulate that with management. So as part of, we talked about the triangle, as part of the Scrum Master, the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the solution lead. I can really honestly say, the solution lead really is, in my opinion, is the foundation that holds the product owner and the Scrum Master together. And it doesn't matter whether the solution lead is contract, doesn't matter whether the solution lead is employee. They just have always, every single solution lead I have ever worked with have been 1,000 million times rock solid to the project, and rock solid to being able to make sure that there is collaboration amongst the development team and collaboration amongst the leader. So they are really essential. I think if a company was to do conflict management and conflict training, whether the solution lead was a contractor or an employer, I think they would need to be brought on board, because it's such a strong, if that triangle is strong, you know, you've got things going. You've got a strong management team. So those are things. There's another inside Dev, it's called Solution Architect. They take the level of solution lead, and they're up at a higher level. The solution architect goes and works with multiple teams so that they are, I don't know how they do it. Their head is just able to go from one meeting to another meeting and analyze each project and see issues and see problems in order to be able to help each team be able to understand. They have a higher level than the solution lead, so that they as well, if the dev team cannot get the answer that they need from the solution lead, the solution architect will be able to provide them an answer to that as well. The solution architect that I worked with, phenomenal individual. I can't even imagine not having him. He was so good to be able to break things down, and you know, he worked well with that. But he did a lot of training, because I was new to the company. He had been there quite a while. He was, and because employee, you know, it was kind of an employee to employee conversation here. I just always felt like, you know, he had my back, and he was always really good to help mentor me. I would have to say my software architect was one of the most phenomenal mentors that I have engaged with, and have greatly appreciated that. And then when you go into management, you also are talking about the difference between a project manager and a product manager. Those were really confusing to me initially. So a product manager would basically be the PO's boss. They are looking at the product, the business side. The project manager would be the Scrum Master's job. They are looking at the finances and are being accountability for making sure that there's going to be a return on the investment and that they're staying in budget. They're kind of the money people, to make sure that everybody's balanced and on budget. So that is what Dev is. That's what product development is, and all of those together make a very, very solid, process to being able to do that. So where do I fit in when it comes to Dev? Well, remember, everything that I do is about the user, all of them. So I do have to understand Dev code. I do have to understand Dev language, not on the level of a developer, but on the level of being able to articulate in the developer's language. And that that is a challenge for any product owner that isn't, come from a development background. And there is, I will say, there is a kind of a modification that's going on in the industry where they are taking developers and they are grooming them into product owners, because they're feeling like that they would be able to groom stories better and handle the development side. I have found those to be in very development-focused companies and shops. The challenge, as what you have seen here, is that development is just one small part of making this product work. So having a product owner that is strong in management, strong in understanding UX, understanding sales and marketing, understanding training, understanding business needs. The development side is already so heavily strong with solid development leadership that's really already taken care of. And if the company is wanting to have the product owner being stronger in that, then there may need to be some training that needs to occur to be able to strengthen the development side. But in order to be able to have an independent decision maker as a product owner to look at it outside of just development, you've got to have a well-rounded, experienced product owner. And wherever they're weak, be able to jump in and be able to do them. So that is dev. That is what it is that they end up doing. So I'm going to close out with this. So what? All of this information, so what? What's in it for you? Well, that is what we're going to discuss in the next training module. So look forward to seeing you in the next training module. Now that we have applied that, we've gotten all the information on the different roles, we're going to talk about how it specifically affects you as a user, as a consumer, and even more importantly, how it affects you as a business. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a small business or nonprofit or corporation, everything that I'm going to talk to you, that I have previously talked to you about, all of that I'm going to talk to you about what is in it for you. So look forward to seeing you on the next training module. Thank you. This is Carin Camen. I appreciate your time.